YouTube fam, what is good? Yours truly, Marv, back once again for another episode of Marv's Room. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. To the new subscribers, welcome to the channel where we talk about all things law of attraction, all things law of assumption, helping you guys level up mentally, quickly, easily, effortlessly, stuff they don't teach you in schools. So thank you for rocking with me on this journey. Got a great video today out for you guys in reference to couple viewers' questions that I had in regards to a specific person. One viewer question wanted to know, should she be mad at her SP? Should she, be angry, bitter, all of that, whatever superlative you want to use. And then another person asked me another question in regards to a specific person. Is it possible to trust myself in order to trust my cheating SP and just leave it alone? How do I ignore the 3D to get to the 4D? I don't like this ride I'm on. I'm ready to get off. It's hard when everyone is you pushed out. I created a monster. So I wanted to kind of address these things in today's video and give you the perspective from Florence Scovel Shinn and what she thinks, because I think she does a great job at breaking stuff down for when people go through certain things. Because like I said in one of my other videos, I think Noah does a great job of telling you how to get it. But I also think Florence Scovel Shinn does a great job of telling you what to do when you encounter situations, because when you guys get your manifestations, it's not going to be all peaches and roses or whatever you want to call it. So many people, I believe, they think once they get their manifestation, like the work is done. And I've said religiously time after time again, the work is not done. The work is just beginning. Getting your manifestation is just beginning. You have to keep your manifestation. That's where the work comes in. And this is something that is a daily thing, a weekly thing. So let's jump right into it. I think you guys are going to love today's videos, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys, some of these examples I'm getting ready to give, I'm pretty sure you went through it. Some of these examples are going through it right now. I know how I have. And if you didn't, I will literally sit here and wait to see if you haven't gone through it. Like, all right, guys. So let's jump right into it. So I'm going to address these things as I'm reading. I'm going to address it and break it down for you in the way Florence, in my mind, I would see how I can, make it correlate between what you're going through with your specific person. All right. So it goes like this. People often say, why does a little child attract illness when it is too young to even know what it means? I answer, the children are sensitive and receptive to the thoughts of others about them, and often outpicture the fears of their parents. I heard a metaphysician once say, if you do not run your subconscious mind yourself, someone else will run it. So this is key. So just like the children are subject, we are also children. We are subject to everything the outside world has to say. So what are you subjecting in your mind to hearing from other people, your friends? What kind of music are you listening to? What kind of television shows are you watching? What kind of advice are you getting from certain people? These people, our subconscious minds are constantly being affected by the world every day. Everything we see, hear, touch, we don't even realize it. And so this is a perfect example right here of part of what you may have to look at in your life during your manifestation once you get it. And if you're going through something bad right now, ask yourself these questions. Are you allowing yourself are you allowing someone else to run your subconscious mind for you instead of you running it yourself? Mothers often unconsciously attract illness and disaster to their children by continuously holding them in the thoughts of fear and watching for symptoms. For example, a friend asked a woman if a little girl had the measles. She had replied, not yet. This implied that she was expecting the illness and therefore preparing the way for what she did not want for her and herself and her child. So are you using that kind of verbiage? Do you have your SP yet? Somebody asks you that and you say, oh, not yet. Are you implying that it's not going to happen, or no, it's not here yet? Or are you living in the end with certain words? Okay, now stay with me, because I'm going to make all of this come full circle with both viewers' questions that they ask. So stay with me. I just want to go through all of these examples. She says, however, the man who is centered and established in right thinking, the man who sends out only goodwill to his fellow man, and who is without fear, cannot be touched or influenced by negative thoughts of others. In fact, he could then receive only good thoughts, as he himself sends forth only thoughts. Resistance is held for its places man in a state of torment. A metaphysician once gave me a wonderful recipe to take every trick in the game of life. It is the acme of non-resistance. He gave it to me this way. At one time in my life, I baptized children, and of course they had many names. Now I no longer baptize children, but I baptize events. but I give every event the same name. Damn. He said, I baptize events. He said, I don't baptize children, I baptize events. Yo, that's a whole bar. I'm about to start using that. Like, yo, Marv, what you do for a living? I baptize events. I transmute stuff. I baptize events. That's powerful. So he goes on to say, if I ever have failure, I baptize success in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost. In this, we see the great law of transmutation founded on non-resistance. Through his spoken word, every failure was transmuted into success. So if you're failing right now with a specific person, if you're failing at anything, any area in your life, what are you baptizing? Are you still baptizing the old man, or are you baptizing the new man, if you want to put it in Neville terms? Because I think this is powerful. Every failure. So if you feel like you failed with a specific person, stop looking at it as a failure and baptize it and change it. Change the way you see the person, change the way you view the situation, and baptize it as success. Say, I understand that whatever happened, happened, but be like water, go with the flow. Water adapts to everything. So you adapt to the situation and say, I know what happened, I accept it. Don't deny that it happened, because then that creates resistance. Accept that it happened and then move forward so that things can change and get better, and you can be like this guy right here that transmute all his failures into success. So look at your life and go back and transmute all of your failures into successes. This kind of goes to the viewer question where the girl was asking, or the young lady was asking, should she be mad and angry at your specific person? I want you to understand, whatever you give out to other people, you're bringing it back to yourself. So if you wish harm to other people, you're wishing harm on yourself, because everyone is you pushed out. So if you wish harm to another person, if you get angry at another person, what's that saying? They say anger is the punishment you give yourself for someone else's mistake or someone else's decision that they made. Or anger or being upset or frustrated or whatever the case may be is like you're drinking when you don't forgive people. That's like you drinking the poison, hoping that they get sick from the poison that you're drinking. They're not going to get sick. You're the one that's going to get sick because you're the one drinking the poison. So you never want to be angry at people. You always want to let go. You always want to bless. You always want to forgive. And here she goes right into it and she says, bless your enemy and rob him of his ammunition. Rob your enemy of the ammunition, because they want you to be angry. Sometimes they want you to be mad, but you don't give them that power. You allow the universe to take care of that. His arrows will be transmuted into blessings. Whatever darts are being thrown your way, all those darts are going to be transmuted into blessings when you forgive and you let go instead of holding on, because you're destroying yourself if you hold on and don't and you continue to resist the flow. This law is true of nations as well as individuals. Bless a nation, send love and goodwill to every inhabitant, and it is robbed of its power to harm. Yes, your SP will be robbed of any power it has over you when you forgive the situation, forgive them, forgive yourself, most importantly, and let go and bless anything, everything that's involved, whether it's a third party or there's no third party, whatever the case may be. Man can only get the right idea of non-resistance through spiritual understanding. My students have often said, I don't want to be a doormat. I reply, when you use non-resistance with wisdom, no one will ever be able to walk all over you. And this is something I hear too. People say to me, oh, I don't want to be a doormat. Oh, I don't want to be taken advantage of. You will never be taken advantage of when you understand spiritual law, when you understand that what you put out comes back, when you understand changing your mindset, changing the words you speak, getting rid of your ego, looking at stuff from a spiritual lens rather than a worldly lens, because the world may look at it and see you getting walked all over. But when you understand spiritual law, you understand, no, I'm not actually getting walked over. I'm transmuting this. It's just going to take some time for it to show up how I want it to show up. So she gives an example. Another example is, one day I was impatiently waiting for an important phone call. I resisted every other phone call that came in and made no outgoing calls myself, reasoning that it might interfere with the one call I was waiting. Instead of saying divine ideas never conflict, the call will come at the right time, leaving it to infinite intelligence to arrange, I commenced to manage things myself, which is what most people do. We try to control the manifestation, and then they ended up messing it up. I made the battle mine, not God's, and remained tense and anxious. The bell did not ring for about an hour, and I glanced at the phone and found the receiver had been off the length of time, and the phone was disconnected. My anxiety, fear, and belief in interference had brought on a total eclipse of the telephone. So she was waiting for a phone call, but then she didn't realize everything was disconnected. And basically, her fears interfered and manifested her trying to control the situation, not taking other people's phone calls, being impatient, waiting, like all frantic, like, oh, what's going to happen? When's it going to happen? When am I going to get the call? And then realizing what she had done, she had commenced to blessing the situation at once. She baptized it a success and affirmed, I cannot lose any call that belongs to me by divine right. I am under grace and not under law. I cannot lose any specific person that belongs to me by divine right, under grace and perfect law. So switch that word. You can use that for SP if you'd like. A friend rushed out to the nearest telephone to notify the company to reconnect. She entered a crowded grocery, but the proprietor left his customers and attended to the call himself. My phone was connected at once, and 2 minutes later, I received a very important call, and about an hour afterward, the one I had been waiting. There you go. She manifested her manifestation how she wanted it when she let go and took away all the stress and the worries from it. Now, she goes on to say, so long as the man resists the situation, he will have it with him. If he runs from it, it will run after him. For example, I repeated this to a woman one day, and she replied, how true this is. I was unhappy at home. I disliked my mother. She was critical and domineering, so I ran away from her and was married. But I married my mother, for my husband was exactly like my mother, and I had the same situation to face again. Agree with thine adversary quickly. This means agree that the adverse situation is good, be undisturbed by it, and it falls away of its own weight. None of these things move me is a wonderful affirmation. The harmonious situation comes from some inharmony within man himself. When there is in him no emotional response to an inharmonious situation, it fades away forever from his pathway. That is extremely powerful. As she is stating, any inharmony you're going through is because you have it going on within yourself. Instead of running from something, face it, transmute it, change it, and you will get the result that you want. Agree that the adverse situation is good. Agree that whatever you went through with your SP is actually good. Agree with it. Be undisturbed by it, she's saying, and it falls away of its own weight. Agree with it. Be happy, bless it, be thankful because you learned a lesson from it, whatever the case may be. Move on from it. Have no emotional response to an inharmonious situation, and it will fade away forever from his pathway. She goes on to say, so we see man's work is forever within himself, as we just talked about. People have said to me, give treatments to change my husband, give treatments to change my specific person or my brother, whoever. I reply, no, I will give treatments to change you. I will give treatments to change you because changing a specific person has to do with changing you. I will give you treatments to change you. When you change, your husband and your brother will change. One of my students was in the habit of lying. I told her it was a failure method, and if she lied, she would be lied to. She replied, I don't care. I can't possibly get along without lying. One day she was speaking on the phone to a man whom she was very much in love with. She turned to me and said, I don't trust him. I know he's lying to me. I replied, well, you lie yourself. So someone has to lie to you, and you will be sure it will just be the person you want the truth from. Sometime after that, I saw her and she said, I'm cured of lying. I questioned, what cured you? She replied, I have been living with a woman who lied worse than I did. One is often cured of his own faults by seeing them in others. Life is a mirror, and we find only ourselves reflected in our associates. Living in the past is a failure method and a violation of spiritual law. Yo, that was mad powerful what she just said. She literally just broke down why a lot of people don't change and can't change when it comes to their specific person, because they are living from a place of seeing and acting and wanting, to give treatments to change. But it's not about the people you're dealing with changing. It's about you changing, is what she was saying. And once you get out of those habits, start breaking those bad habits of doing whatever it is negative that you were doing. And then in this case, like whether you were lying to other people all the time or lying to yourself or whatever the case may be, you can cure yourself and you can fix yourself. But it starts with you. And being able to trust, going on to being able to trust a specific person, trust has nothing to do with the specific person. Like she said, if I'm not going to give you a treatment to trust your specific person. I'm not going to give you that treatment to trust them, because it's not about them. Trust is about you. You have to trust yourself. I'm going to give you a spoken word, an affirmation to learn to trust you, because really what trust boils down to is trust is not about your SP. Trust is about you no longer trust yourself, because you keep keeping tabs on all the mistakes you made. You keep keeping tabs on all the mistakes your SP made, as well as the mistakes that you have made. You keep saying, oh, I remember back when I messed up over here. Oh, I remember when I messed up back here. Oh, I remember my SP did this. And I remember one of my other videos, I told you guys how the memory is literally the enemy of people that are trying to manifest and helping you guys move forward, because you keep remembering, you're keeping score on how many times you were wrong, and you're keeping, and the score is literally like 1 to 100. 1 is the things you've done right, or 5 is the things you've done right, and 100 is the things that you've done wrong. And so you keep keeping that score. And so this is why you can't trust. But understand, trusting your SP, a cheating SP or any type of SP, whatever situation you're going through, has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with you, how you're out picturing them, how you are out picturing yourself, because everyone is you pushed out. So like she said, there is no treatment for them. All of the treatments that you need are literally only for you. You got to change how you see yourself, how you view yourself, how you view trust. Learn to trust yourself again, because when you trust yourself, you will trust yourself going forward to make the right decisions, and you will no longer look at yourself and think, oh, I don't trust this person. Oh, I don't trust that person. Because when you walk around not trusting people, that means you have distrust within yourself. That means you don't trust you. So that's how you fix the trust issues with your specific person, if that makes sense. And also too, like I said earlier, bless your specific person. Don't wish them any harm, because whatever you wish for them is going to come back to you. And like the guy said in the story, we baptize events. We baptize events for success. That's what we do. All right. I'll see y'all next time. Marv's Room.